From somewhere below the surface of the Midwest, in the studio wing of the adult fans of Nerf's secret bunker, this is the AFoN Show, with your hosts, Mr. K and Mr. S.
What's up, Nerf Nation? This is Mr. S from the Adult Fans of Nerf Show, and today we're firing Elite! Here we got the Hail Fire. This is the brand new big dog of the Elite line, flywheel powered, and yes, you can fit drum clips in it. It'll fit the 25 rounder. You'll be able to fit the Raider 35 rounder in here. This thing will fire darts all day long. Grip the handle, rip it, it'll advance the carousel. You can fit all these clips in here. This thing is massive. It's awesome. Got the trigger down here to activate the flywheels, and then you put the fire trigger, and they just go. I'm out. Can you get the rifling in there? This thing isn't even rifled. Huh? Oh.
Alright, let's do it. Let's see how many. Alright, this is the test to see how many barrel clips we could fit in there. Try it. 3 apart. Oh, looks like we can only fit 3.
3.
Perfect. Alright, maybe not. It won't fit 3. I can already tell you that. Maybe 35 round drums, we're not sure.
We can get 2, count them, 2 of the 25 round drum clips in here. It will not fit 3. Lofty hopes. We were a little shot down, but it puts a lot of weight on the carousel too.
Sure does. That is one disadvantage.
Yep. I do like the double bandolier holders right here.
You probably get 2 bandoliers on there. 2 bandoliers up here, all the way back.
Oh.
You take the camera to my left hand. That is not good.
I'm sure we can fit 3 of the bigger ones though. Oh, there you go. Some real hot drum dancing going on over here.
Nope.
Resistance in the handle.
says darts face out. So now you know. And that's all she wrote. So yeah, that was our experience at the Nerf Media event with the Hailfire.
Can't say enough cool stuff about it, man. That thing really surprised me. It's smaller than I expected, like I said before, but it is really, really cool.
It is. It does bear a little resemblance to a lawnmower, in my opinion. You know, the Roomba blaster.
The Roomba blaster. And I said one of the designers actually said that was one of the nicknames they had for it in the office, which is really funny because the carousel it's very similarly shaped and sized to a Roomba.
Yep. And speaking of the carousel, the actual hood that goes over the clips.
The blue part that extends out from the sides of the blaster itself.
Yeah. Those can actually be removed. And when you get it in the box, according to the designers, those actually aren't even part of the blaster. Those are parts that you have to put on yourself.
Some assembly required.
Yep. So you don't have to have those on there if you don't want to. However, they recommend that you do have them on there because if you don't, there's a chance that the darts could get bumped or moved around when the carousel's moving or when you're moving around with the exposed clips, so that once the clip comes up and gets ready to fire, you have darts all out and everywhere and easy to jam.
Easy to jam. Yeah, be easy with that carousel. Because to be honest with you, the carousel doesn't rotate using much tension, so it slips pretty easily, especially with the more weight you put on it. We were having a little bit of problems with the 25 round barrel clip in there. We were able to fit 2 of them on the carousel, and that extra weight was enough when you're priming the handle. Sometimes it would slip. It doesn't have a very strong ratchet in there.
Yeah, I would think that if you had more of an even weight around the carousel, it would probably remedy that.
More uniform weight distribution.
There's no way to fit those 25 round drums in there uniformly.
There really isn't, and we didn't have a chance to check with anything other than the 25 rounder as far as barrel clips are concerned. I wouldn't suspect you would have that much trouble with the 18 round barrel clips because they're smaller, and maybe even more luck with the 35 rounder, possibly because of the offset clip that slides into the blaster.
I'm thinking that it's going to be possible to put that 35 round drum in there, but like you said, we didn't have an opportunity to use one of those because they didn't have any there.
Right, they were just, it was an elite event, so they were only using the elite clips, which makes sense.
Yep. So we know that you guys have some questions, so we got some answers written down here so we can keep track of what we need to answer. One of the biggest questions that everybody's having is, what about the other elite blasters that we've already seen little peeks of? What about the Elite Jolt? What about the Stockade? What about the Fire Strike?
Yeah.
They didn't say anything about the Stockade.
No, we didn't get any information on that.
And they didn't mention anything else other than the Jolt and the Fire Strike.
Yeah.
Those are the only ones they would make comments on.
We did hear that there are going to be other elite blasters in the series, but we didn't get any information as far as which ones, release schedules, or anything like that. But we know that there is more coming to the elite than what we've already seen.
Yep, and some of those blasters will be refreshed versions of blasters that we've already seen, but we don't have any idea what those are going to be. They refuse to comment on those for obvious reasons. They did say that the Jolt and the Fire Strike will be coming out next year, and they didn't want to really release them at the same time because they wanted to focus on the 3 larger ones so that they would have a better lineup to focus on.
Well, really, it's a bigger flash in the pan. You lead out with some of your heavy hitters, and you generate a lot of buzz. So I think it'll generate more sales, get more publicity for the line, so they can release the smaller supplemental blasters later and be better off, we'll say.
Absolutely, and we did hear that those blasters are just not reshells or repaints. They are actually improved blasters.
They've gotten the full elite treatment. They will be advertising the same 75 feet distance as the rest of the series. So it will be really interesting to see what they've done to the Jolt and the Night Finder to make them perform better stock.
Absolutely. We heard from one of the guys at Nerf that the Fire Strike is actually going to be a little bit more compact
and just overall better looking than the Night Finder.
Yeah, they've done something. They didn't tell us what, but they have done something to lower its profile, make it. I want to say probably a little bit more Scout-esque, but still using the same plunger system.
We can't really say about what they're going to do with the plunger system, but with the direct plunger that the Night Finder already has, it's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough for them to improve upon it. And I was assuming the same plunger system, pull
same
back,
pullback, yeah,
the same pullback thing, because we kind of saw that on the box packaging for the Retaliator and the Rampage.
Yep. Let's see.
What else you got?
Well, that was pretty much it for the questions that we have. We are going to be willing to answer more questions. If you want to send us a comment or whatever, we'll try and answer all the questions we can in the comments.
You can also submit questions via email to questions@adultfansofnerf.com.
Yep. Easiest way to get in contact with us. We can shoot you right back with an email.
Yep.
The other thing that I wanted to mention was a little bit about the Elite Dart.
Okay, yeah, Matt found some interesting information out talking to one of the designers about the Elite Dart.
Yep, I asked him, what was involved with the redesign of the Streamline to make it Elite. And he said there wasn't really any redesign involved. The most of what they did was just take what they had and better engineer it.
It seems like they really ramped up quality control, especially guaranteeing that you're getting the optimum quality of the foam in the dart itself, as well as the rubberized plastic in the tip. They've gone to extreme elite measures to make sure that these darts are the creme de la creme, the best darts that they've ever produced.
Yep. They even said that they went so far as to look at each of the individual chemical components in the foam and figure out what the optimum temperature to produce the foam at is, and so they have temperature controlled factories now that are producing the foam for these darts. It's a little denser than the regular foam from the Streamlines, and the rubberized plastic of the tip is a little bit denser,
slightly more rigid. It's a minor difference, but it makes a hell of a difference.
Yeah, it does, and it really changes the weight profile of the dart. Makes it a little bit more heavy in the tip than the regular Streamline, but that's not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not necessarily a bad thing.
When these are really best in range when you're shooting kind of aloft.
A little bit angled, flat. You're not. To be honest with you, elite status and 75 feet aside, you're not really going to get that 75-foot distance from the testing that we've done, especially at the event. We had a lot of time to try and test them. Shooting them flat on, you'll probably get 40, 50 feet, which is still better than the majority of the N-Strike line stock. But you will get that 75 feet if you do loft it or angle your shot up a little bit. And to me, that's not a problem. I'm not gonna bitch about that, because I'm still gonna be able to shoot farther than people using N-Strike if I am shooting flat.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really a no-brainer for me. Shooting aloft, yeah, exactly. And shooting aloft doesn't really mess too much with your aiming, because these are dart blasters anyways. You're not aiming exactly through the iron sights.
You're not really. The iron sights are there for aesthetic purposes. We've talked to death about that kind of stuff, but people shouldn't be too worried about having to loft their shots a little bit to get extra distance.
Yeah, and you are going to get that extra distance, and the darts being a little bit more tip heavy, it does help with the loft distance.
It does, and I also think that difference in weight helps the dart fly along the riflings in the barrel extensions, giving them that spin, making them more accurate. I don't think we would have gotten that result had the darts been as light as the regular Streamlines are.
Yeah, and as we said in the video beforehand, the Hailfire doesn't actually have any rifling in it.
It doesn't. No, we thought it did, but looking at it, the barrel itself is so small. There's no room for any riflings. It's literally, you got that super plunger that shoots the dart out of the of the clip, it hits those flywheels, and it's gone. There's not much time it spends in the blaster once you push the trigger.
Yeah, and honestly, there's playing around with the barricade, the motors tend to slow down between shots, but with the Hailfire, it seemed like they were almost keeping up. No matter how fast you shot, they were keeping up and going as far as they could go.
Yeah, as far and as fast. I mean, you could double tap the trigger, rabbit punch it, and I mean, it didn't bat an eye at it, and it got consistently every time. So I don't know if if they've ramped up the motors in the flywheel so that they don't lose speed, lose RPMs from the darts hitting them, or if it's just that the Hailfire, that I can't believe that plunger in there. That plunger is like it's awesome. It's massive. It's huge. I've never seen anything like it. And I think it just pushes that dart so fast that it doesn't give the motors time to slow down.
Yeah, it's like the inner mouth from Aliens.
It really does. It's awesome.
It is. As you saw in the video, it just moves super fast, and it pushes out those darts so fast that I think that helps the ammo move faster past the flywheels. The flywheels just make it.
It just slingshots it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's great. I was expecting a little bit more weight from the Hailfire blaster itself, but when you put those clips in there, you don't want it any heavier.
Yeah.
You put a full load of clips in there, and the bigger clips you put in there, the weightier it's going to be, and the more cumbersome it's going to be. I really don't see, if you're going to be running around with that thing in a battle, I really don't see you being able to carry it easily without utilizing the bandolier clips on it.
Yeah, because the bandoliers are really going to come in handy with this blaster.
I really think
and it has 3 different spots for you to hook it on, one on the handle, and it's got 2 on the sides, and you could probably put 2 bandoliers on there and figure out a way to suspender it from you or whatever.
Well, yeah, and that would be great too, because the more bandoliers you have on there, the more extra clips you have.
Absolutely, and honestly, I think it's not the same level as the Stampede in terms of blaster size, but
no.
it still takes you from being infantry to being a heavy class.
Oh, definitely. It definitely gives you that power of, I'm gonna fuck stuff up with this blaster. The Stampede was similar in that respect, but I think it's a difference in or series mentality between the N-Strike proper and the Elite. Because the N-Strike proper has the Vulcan, it's got the Stampede, it's got these big Arnold Schwarzenegger style blasters. The Elite seems, so far anyway, we haven't seen what else is going to come out, but so far it's got the medium dogs. It's got the medium dogs covered. And if you can be Elite with the medium dogs, you can get around the heavy hitters and get them on distance if nothing else.
Yeah, and with the Hailfire, you really have a choice on what kind of class you're going to play. Because you can stock it with 6-round clips and be good. You can stock it with 12-round clips and be good. But when you put those 18-round clips in there, you're really getting towards that heavy mentality.
You really are, and it makes the blaster harder to carry, because you got to figure if the blaster itself sits about this high up, and then you put the 18-round clips on there, now all of a sudden you got something this tall, and it's something this tall, about that big around, and you're trying to carry this thing with you. It can be cumbersome, more cumbersome than the Stampede.
Yep, it absolutely can be, and that's why they got the handle on top, and that's why that handle on top is what rotates the thing, because you're gonna have to hang onto it by that handle.
Now, yes and no, because I gotta say,
I'm saying that when you have like a heavy load in there, you're gonna have to use that handle.
Right, and well, for at least stability's sake, while you're trying to advance the handle, the carousel, but just on itself. I really enjoy the look of the Hailfire with the foregrip from the Retaliator. It looks great, and it's got that little tactical rail, that little half tactical rail right on the tip that's just perfectly sized for that. It's like they were thinking ahead or something. Yeah. And that gives you a lot of more stability when you're trying to actually aim your shots. Now the tactical rail up on top here, because of the handle, I wouldn't really see it working so much for a sight or a scope. But the bottom one is definitely functional. It works great with, so far, that handle. Hopefully we'll see something else for it along the line.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to use it with any other kind of tactical rail attachments, because really, the only tactical rail attachments coming out with the Elite line is this one here.
So far, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, our little experience with the Hailfire was overall positive.
Very positive, yeah. It looks like a great blaster. I can't wait for it.
Yep, I can't wait for it either. It's going to be nice to get our hands on it and test it in more of an
Controlled environment?
I would say less controlled environment, because I would say that the party kind of controlled it a little bit more by limiting what we could use with the blaster.
It did. It made it kind of uniform testing, we'll say. They did have testing ranges set up. They did have one that was supposed to be 75 feet so you could gauge the distance, but they didn't have any foot markers or anything lined out there, so you're just kind of going on their word that it was 75 feet.
It very well could have been.
It very well could have been. I'm not saying that it wasn't. I'm just saying that because there was no definitive measuring system out there for us to gauge, no clear start line, no foot markers, we were just going on their word that it was 75 feet. And, I mean, it was long enough that you could see the difference in the flat shots and the arc shots for distance.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's show them a little bit of the chaos.
Oh, dude, this place got so mad. They had, did we show it yet?
Well, here's a little clip of the arena before anything happened.
Before...
Right out of the get-go of the party.
Yeah, right out of the get-go of the party. We'll say that.
Okay, now that you've seen that,
it's a pretty cool setup. I love the barrels and the barricades, we'll say.
the inflatable thingies.
Inflatable thingies.
Yeah.
So that was at the beginning of the night. That was before the chaos started. And we gotta say, that was some chaos. That was a great, great dark battle that went on inside of there. Let's show it off. That was great. That was just awesome to watch. Darts flying everywhere. You couldn't step in there without getting pummeled.
Absolutely. We honestly don't know who most of those people were. A lot of these people at these parties are outside, people outside the Nerf community that they invite.
Other companies, websites, magazines, stuff like that. There's so many people there, and it's so loud inside of there. It's really hard to talk to everybody.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, they were having a blast with all those.
It was great. It was fun to watch too.
It was, because seeing all these people who had like rarely, if ever, touched a Nerf blaster, play with these, you know, they have one jam up, they throw it and grab a different one.
Throw it on the ground, you hear it clang, 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 and they pick up another one and they keep going. It was a little painful to watch, to be honest with you, knowing how new these are and they haven't been released yet. And
they torture these things.
We wanted to baby them, and they're throwing them around like they're yesterday's used newspaper.
Oh yeah, stepping on clips all over the floor, and just like all those darts just everywhere, and some of them torn in half and stuff.
Stomped on, stepped on. It was great. It was a lot of fun. And then that seemed to be one of the best overall action tests of the series.
Yeah, because even at the previous parties that we've been at, it didn't get that crazy.
No, it didn't get that crazy. It got so crazy they tried to tear the house down. There was one poor corner of the enclosure that kept getting busted apart, and you had part of the screen folded over, and it was great. It was so fun.
Absolutely, it was chaos. So yeah, but I mean, it was a load of fun.
Yeah, there wasn't a blaster in the joint that didn't get used. They had that nice little ring display with all, you know, everything all up and pretty on Lexane supports and everything. Yeah, those were the first to go. People just grabbed them and ran into the enclosure with them. It was great.
Yeah, by the end of the night, I think almost all of them were inside that enclosure, and
yeah,
we were hard pressed to actually get them out there so we could do some photo shoots and stuff with them.
Yep, it was hard.
We just kind of had to sneak in there and steal them out from under them.
Like spies. Mine, give me.
I walked out of there with about 6 in hand.
Yeah, nobody even noticed. I didn't think they even knew he was in there.
No. So yeah, that was the chaos of the event. There was one other thing besides the Elite Series that we got our hands on.
Should we even talk about it? It wasn't its party.
I'm pretty sure that it'll be okay if we talk about it.
Okay, we're talking about the Pyragon. It was there, and it was it tried to steal the show. I gotta tell you, the people, especially from the rest of the community, the other websites were there. That's really, I wouldn't want to go out there and say that's what they wanted to see there, but once we saw it, we couldn't put it down.
Yeah, especially after once we got to see it fired ourselves. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Let's roll that footage.
Let's roll some footage.
I got the Nerf Vortex Pyragon here. I know you guys all want to take a look at it. Here it is. Now this baby has slam fire and has the unique 40-disc drum. Now this baby has a couple of internal clips, 4 I believe. There's 4, and it spins around as it fires. So yeah, we'll have a little bit of a test fire later once the area clears up a little bit.
So yeah, that was my little experience with the Pyragon. But yeah, Rogue from Nerf Revolution tried to walk out with it a couple of times. There were 2 of them there, and one of them barely left his hands. They took it away from him a couple of times, but he managed to find it thanks to me.
He was like a ninja going after that thing. It was hilarious, to be honest with you. It was great.
But yeah, it's a great blaster. I'm really impressed with what they did with the Vortex line. You know, how they're continuing on and improving it.
I like Slamfire. I like Slamfire probably a little bit more than the rest of the guys because, well, I'm a clip system guy. This thing is like Slamfire 2.0.
Yeah, it's just a more satisfying Slamfire.
It really is, and it's smooth as silk. I've had problems with Raiders jamming, doing Slamfire, and this thing will shoot Slamfire discs as fast as the Hailfire. I mean, it's just insane, and you got 40 rounds to go through.
The thing is, the Hailfire and the Pyragon are basically hoses. You know,
they're dart
The
hoses.
Hailfire's a dart hose. Pyragon is its counterpart. It is a disc hose.
Yeah, it's like a constant stream of.
You'll be out of darts before you realize it. And that's probably the worst part of it.
That is the worst part of it.
The only bad part about these high capacity blasters is that it takes so long to fill them back up unless you happen to have another one of the Pyragon's drum clips, or you happen to have like 2 bandoliers full of clips that you can restock your Hailfire with.
Yeah, that is the biggest detriment to it. And trying to hunt down all of those discs amongst the chaos was fun, at least.
Yeah. The new discs really aren't any different than the old discs. They're just different color.
Cool. They look pretty cool. Now, to me, what would be kind of cool, since they made the inner circle white, they could have used the glow-in-the-dark stuff from the Lumitron and give you an orange with the glow-in-the-dark inside, which would be really cool, I think.
Well, yeah, it would be cool, but you'd have to put some sort of light mechanism.
Oh, I thought about that after I said it, okay? So strike that from the record.
The clip looks pretty complicated. I'd be afraid to try and like deconstruct it or anything like that.
I'm not gonna touch it.
Well, I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm going to do it. I'm just saying I'd be afraid to do it because it seems like honestly, I have really little idea how it works.
Because the discs go straight down into it, and once this whole line is full, you still have discs here, and then you rotate the thingy and it sloops you to another one, and then you fill that down, you still have discs up here, and rinse repeat until all 4 of them are filled. It does seem really complicated.
Yeah, and then somehow, without any intervention, it switches from one chamber to the other automatically.
While you're slam firing, so it does this really quick. I'm hard pressed to even fathom how they came up with the idea, but you can't argue with the results.
Absolutely, it fires wicked fast.
Wicked fast, and it's great. I mean, I don't really see you. I'm not going to say that, but Slamfire seems to be the way to go, really, with it. You can walk around trying to train your shots, but why do that when you can just rabbit punch it, man? Rabbit punch it. Go for the gold.
Absolutely. The Pyragon was another amazing blaster to get our hands on at this event, and I was really hoping that we would actually get our chance to do it.
I was leery about it at first because it being the elite event and whatever. I thought they were going to do something else for not another event this year or anything for the Pyragon, but savor it a little bit. But I'm super glad that they did have it there, and not just 1 but 2, so we got to spread the love a little bit.
Yeah, it would have been nice for them to have like a little corner for the Pyragon just so that people could play with it. But as you can see in the clip, when I walked into that arena with the Pyragon, they did not know what hit them.
They didn't know what was going on, man. They're like,
what's going on? What is that?
And I was helping police the discs, make sure we had them all, and I was talking to people, hey, hand me that disc, hand me that disc. They're like, what disc? What's a disc? What shoots a disc? They didn't even see what he was firing. It went by so fast.
Oh yeah, it was a hoot.
A hoot and a holler, one might say. Yeah, we always have a blast at these events. We can't thank Nerf enough for throwing these kind of events and allowing us to be part of it. They're really once-in-a-lifetime opportunities that we get to have once a year.
Yeah, and they get better every year. I mean, the first year that we went to one, I'm almost positive that was the first event that they'd ever thrown like that.
It didn't seem like it. Talio said that he'd been to like 1 or 2 others before that.
See, I thought he was talking about actually going to Hasbro HQ.
He may have been. That was a couple years back, and well, there's alcohol involved in these things, so memories get a little skewed.
Yeah, that's why we try to videotape stuff. I mean, I don't drink personally, but
I do.
He does, and you know, I'm sure if you pay any attention to Vaz out there at Foam from Above, he's kind of a party guy.
Here's the funny thing about that, Baz. I love you. You're awesome, but you're a lightweight. He was that crazy and loopy the entire night, and I asked him how many he had. He said one. I only had one beer. he's hilarious. He's a great guy.
Yeah. There's Vaz we had met before. We had also met Badger from Nerf HQ.
Badger's a great guy.
But also this year we had 2 new guys there.
We had some young blood, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I think from what Vaz said, Rogue is actually almost 30.
He didn't look it. Rogue, if you're almost 30, dude, what is your secret? Because you look about 17. I shit you not.
Yeah, but he's got to be at least 21 to be there.
He was able to drink, and he was having a good time. He's a great guy. NRev, Nerf Revolution, good website, good resource. Who was CJ from Click Bamf was the other new blood there. A little bit of a quiet guy, but funny when you actually get him to talk a little bit.
Yeah, we've had a little bit more experience with the Nerf Revolution site. We didn't really know anything about Click Bamf until Vaz mentioned that he was coming.
That he was coming, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it looks like a great site, and their videos are updated a little bit more than their website. But
I haven't been there yet, so I don't have an opinion on the website.
But yeah, I mean, it's the Nerf community is definitely getting.
It's growing, and it's getting away from all of the, I hate to say it, but 10, 12-year-olds trying to build their own website on mommy daddy's computer and trying to talk about things that they're just fanboys of.
That's what YouTube's for, though.
That's what YouTube is for, and that's becoming a great outlet for all those people. More power to them. Keep it coming. It keeps people informed. It keeps people involved. These more professional websites that are coming out now, like NRev, Click Bamf, all the rest of us that are in the circle, it's upping the bar. They're better quality than what was out there, and it's solidifying the community into something that it needs. That the Nerf Nation,
Yeah, more sites are becoming more professional, more upstanding parts of the community, and really building their own websites as brands.
Yes.
like we do.
Yep.
We have our own shirts. We have bags, and we have
bits and bobs. Yep.
Various things for sale and stuff, and we have our own, we have our logo, and that's really part of, I think, what makes us, a little bit more professional than some other websites.
Definitely not all. We have seen, especially the guys that I personally can only talk about the guys that we deal with, because I don't scour the internet, I don't see all of the websites that are out there, but I know that especially the ones that we deal more intimately with, they really do try and brand themselves. They're not just a generic Nerf site. They're Foam from Above, and everything they do is Foam from Above, or Nerf Revolution, or all these other sites
Basic Nerf,
and
Shining Foam's up and coming.
Yeah.
HVZ Auburn, guy we've mentioned a couple of times on here.
Great guy.
He's come out with a blog in addition to his videos on YouTube. It's Shining Foam. We have a link to it on our site, and I will also link to it in the description for this video on YouTube.
Cool.
I promised that I'd mention him on here because
he's a great
I've forgotten the first part. But yeah, it's really nice to see that we have a bunch of new guys taking positions in the community, and really being mature,
following rules, blog standards, stuff like that. They're credible. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, and not just being really rageaholics about how Nerf doesn't do this and Nerf doesn't do that,
like it was a few years ago.
Yeah, because I mean, there's really no reason to flame Hasbro for the stuff that they do. I mean, they make mistakes.
They're a toy company. Come on. They're not just a toy company. They're like the toy company. I mean, are they the biggest in the world? I can nary think of a toy company
Like
that's bigger than that.
the only other toy companies that I can really think of are the Lego Group, Mattel. They're like the biggest guys out there, other than Hasbro.
Because they bought up almost everybody else.
But yeah, I mean, Hasbro makes mistakes, and like the whole thing with Urban Tigers, it was just a big stupid mistake that they made.
And it got blown out of proportion, but blah 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 whatever.
Yeah,
I'm done with all of that.
Yeah, we don't really need to get into that and have another flame war or anything like that. But seeing, having people be more mature about this hobby really makes it seem more acceptable to people who don't really understand.
Exactly. Yeah. Makes the whole brand more credible.
Yeah. And that and that's the reason, the whole reason that they're bringing out the Elite line is because they are listening to you guys. They're seeing what everybody's doing, and they're saying, we want to bring this to you in a safe manner and bring it to a wider audience.
Yes.
So that not just people who can modify their blasters can have these elite ranges.
Right, and that's something that that again was brought up at the event. That they don't attack modding. They don't down modding. They understand that really with this kind of a toy, it's almost integral to the success of the brand. But modding can be dangerous. It's time consuming. It's hit or miss. Sometimes you bork your own blaster while you're trying to mod. Nerf wants to give people the best possible product that they can. So with the Elite line, they want to give you all of the fun of a modded awesome blaster without having to.
Absolutely. You can go to the store and pick one up. You don't have to do anything extra to it.
Yeah. It'll give you all the range and power that you can shake a stick at.
Yeah, you don't have to buy anything extra. You just have to buy the blaster.
Yeah.
And the only reason that these blasters are costing a little bit more, and honestly, I was a little surprised at how little they cost compared to like the Hailfire. The Hailfire is gonna be like $40.
That's it.
Yeah, that's all it's gonna be. I mean, the Paragon's gonna be $40 too, but that's because I would say it's almost on par with the Hailfire.
Oh, definitely. If nothing else, for capacity and rate of fire.
Yeah, and not only that, it's fun as hell.
Can't argue.
So, and the Retaliator, yeah, it doesn't have the shoulder stock, but it costs about the same as the Raider. Well, the Raider was like $35, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
I think this is probably about $30. The Retaliator is going to be $25. It's a little bit more than the Recon, but plastic's getting more expensive, and so Hasbro is trying their best to keep the prices what they are, having the tiers that they have for different sizes and stuff. But they can only combat that so much before they actually have to raise their prices.
Exactly, and that was something that we talked about with them last year. It's actually staggering how much the price of the plastic pellets has changed, and Nerf is trying, or Hasbro probably as a whole, as a company, is trying to do as much as they can to keep the quality up while keeping their costs low enough to keep people interested in buying their products so they don't have to raise prices more than just a little bit.
Yeah. So, I think they're really doing a good job with this.
I think so too. I haven't really had any complaints.
No. And I think the fact that they're releasing the Hailfire with only 4 clips is one of those cost-saving methods.
I think
they work with all clips. I mean, you don't have to have the Elite clips.
No, you can use the regular clip system clips. They'll fit in there just fine.
Absolutely. So, I mean, if you have clips laying around from the
bandolier,
they will work in it.
Yeah, if you bought the flip clip system, you're gonna have clips all over the place.
Ooh, flip clips with the Hailfire and 18-round clips. Oh, that's gonna be insane.
Why did I even say that?
Oh, think about that. 2 18-round clips in each spot.
You'll be able to use the clips as a tripod or an octopod.
You could put 2 Hailfires together. You heard it here first. 8 flip clips put together 2 Hailfires. That's a way to dual wield that Vaz did not think of.
Yeah, exactly. Vaz was having the hardest time trying to figure out how to dual wield the Retaliate or the Hailfire. Still, the hardest thing I'm going to see is how to hold it while trying to hit the handles to rotate your clips.
Yeah, you'd have to almost try and simultaneously rotate those so that they stay even. So otherwise you're dealing with one like this and one like this, and it's just like, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing to try. And that's something that I definitely want to try.
We're gonna have to do it.
Absolutely. You know, and well, with the Elite line, they are re-releasing some of the stuff. They're re-releasing the bandolier.
Yeah.
Really, it's only just recolored and with newer clips.
There is a little bit different. If I could stand up and
no,
show.
I'm talking about the bandolier, not the vest.
Well, okay. If we're going to talk about the bandolier, we should talk about the vest next.
We're going to talk about the vest next.
Okay, so finish on the bandolier.
I am done with the bandolier. Now we can talk about the vest.
Okay,
the vest itself is a revision to the previous vest.
Minor revision. It's not too much different. I'm going to stand up and show you here. So kneel down a little bit. So I'll take off the Lady Gaga glasses. Okay, so the regular tactical vest had a zipper right up here. They gave that a break, and they gave you 3 Velcro thingies, which for larger adults like myself is not too bad. It's still comfortable when it's open. It's still adjustable on the sides. You got the Velcro straps right here that you can adjust. They got rid of the holster thingy that was on the side here. That really wasn't all that great, and they gave you just a little carabiner, which is probably what the Fire Strike was clipped onto on the box art. And you got the 1 pouch right here, which is not zippered anymore. It is Velcroed. All the same kind of clip storage that it had before. Other than that,
it doesn't have the sword sheath on the back.
It doesn't have, but it's Elite.
Yes.
It's not End Strike.
Yes.
So that's the major differences in the tac vest. Other than that, it's the same.
Yep. And they also are releasing 75 round, 30 round packs of the Elite darts, and upgrade kit for the Hailfire so that you can get those extra 4 clips for it's $15, you know.
And it gives you more clips. It gives you more Elite darts.
Yep. And they're releasing the 18 round clip by itself, which I know pretty much everybody's wanted.
Clamoring for ever since the Stampede. Everybody's wanted the 18 round clips, and now you can finally get them.
Absolutely, it's gonna be great, and I'm hoping that with more Elite blasters coming out in the future, that they release even more accessories in the Elite lineup. You know, maybe an Elite pinpoint sight, because I know everybody wants a pinpoint sight now that they're not in stores.
Yes, and it was a great accessory.
It is, yeah. You know, more various things that possibly come out.
Yeah. I hope they do. I hope they do. Not only would it just be great to see some of those End Strike accessories in blue, which we like, but it may just be time to re-release some of these things.
Yeah, because there's people getting into Nerf now that weren't able to get those back when they were out.
Exactly, and
they were out for such a short time. It's like I felt like I couldn't. I got 1 from the store, and the rest of them I bought online.
Well, for me, somebody who doesn't troll the internet, doesn't see all of these things right away, I just hear about these things and they're gone. You can't find them anymore. So I'm so excited about the pinpoint sight. Yeah, you can get the pinpoint sight. Matt shows me his breaks, and now they're gone. We can't find them in stores. We have to try and find them online, and guess what? They were so great. Now they're jacked up 20 times their retail price.
Well, not 20 times.
Hey, it was an exaggeration to show
quite a bit more than what they were getting
right.
in retail. So yeah, hopefully they bring out more of that stuff. One more thing before we go. Pictures of this are probably going to be popping up around the internet. I know that Vaz already put one up. But I wanted to show you guys
the talk of the show.
Yes, everybody loved my tat, and I love it too. That's why I got it.
It is genuine, it is real. He got it a few months back, and he's been bitching at me to get one ever since. It will happen, but I'm waiting for the official release of the Elite line, because guess what? That's what I'm going to get. The Elite End Strike Shield is going to be emblazoned upon my upper arm.
Yep. I'll make sure of it.
So So really, if you guys have any other questions, something that you that we may not have covered from the event, any questions that you might have, comment on this feed. Or email us questions@adultfansofnerf.com. We'll do our best to answer everything that you got with the information that we have.
Yep, and just remember, it's Nerf
or nothing.
Let's show them a little bit of the carnage that we were talking about to the arena.
Let's bring it on.